So guys, it's that time of the year again. It's the most important time of the year for me. And unfortunately, the green one is not currently, I don't currently have access to the green Snuggie, but we got the red Snuggie on. But also there was this draft lottery thing that happened. So anyway, the draft lottery happened today with the Sky getting the 5th pick, the Mystics getting the 4th pick, the Storm getting the 3rd pick, the Lynx getting the 2nd pick, and the Dallas Wings getting the 1st pick. Basically, it is the...
She said it, and the words lingered, heavy and unmistakable. A direct challenge aimed at one of college basketball's brightest stars. The Analyst's bold claim wasn't just a casual comparison. It was a declaration that Paige Bueckers simply isn't operating on Caitlin Clark's level right now, at least not in the ways that matter most on the defensive end. According to her, Bueckers would need the perfect supporting cast just to keep pace. It didn't land like an opinion. It landed like a gauntlet hitting the floor, instantly sparking a firestorm of debate and setting the stage for an inevitable, fiery response from Bueckers herself. In that moment, the entire WNBA conversation shifted, permanently.
3rd pick, the Lynx getting the 2nd pick, and the Dallas Wings getting the 1st pick. Basically, it is the exact order of records. It is the exact order. And I'm going to be honest, this is very, very important for the Dallas Wings because there is a obvious pick. Because you're not going to be great. Like, it depends. Sorry. There are 2 ways you go about this. You go and...
The controversial claim surfaced during a deep dive into the WNBA draft lottery, where the analyst outlined a hypothetical long-term scenario. Even if Paige Bueckers were paired with a top-tier prospect like a WFAM standout, their combined strength would amount to a duo merely capable of competing with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. The phrasing, compete with rather than surpass or dominate, drew a sharp, deliberate line. It subtly suggested that Bueckers, on her own, still faces a considerable climb to match Clark's far-reaching offensive influence, needing a powerful running mate just to level the playing field.
It depends. Sorry. There are 2 ways you go about this. You go and either get hot in free agency and get a lot of the top players, and you go and then draft AZ Fudd as this complementary piece. Let's just say hypothetically, you manage to use the cap space and convince players we're going UConn. We're going UConn. And you manage to convince.
The analyst didn't hold back, stating outright that Paige still has a little bit to go before reaching Caitlin Clark's level. This wasn't a throwaway comment. It was a blunt public evaluation of where the 2 stars stand now and where they're headed. The message was unmistakable. While Clark is already performing at an elite, record-shattering tier, Bueckers is still climbing, still developing, still working toward that summit. That unfiltered assessment immediately amplified the pressure on Paige, directly challenging her standing as a singular, undeniable force in the game.
And convince players we're going UConn. We're going UConn. And you manage to convince, you just go, you know what, Tina Charles, you come in as our backup. You're going to be our backup center. Fee, Stewie, Azare. We can afford every one of yous. We can afford all 3 of yous. And then, okay, we're going to draft AZ. We're going to go UConn. We have the ability to go UConn. And with this weird free agency, look, it's in Dallas, but doesn't really matter where it is. Where it's going to be, it's going to be.
Adding even more fuel to the fire, the analyst went a step further, predicting that Paige might eventually, at some point later in her career, reach the level Caitlin Clark displayed as a rookie. That long-range projection cast Bueckers as someone destined to trail Clark's early explosive impact rather than meet it head-on. Framing a player of Paige's caliber as needing years to match the debut season of her peer is an undeniably bold claim, positioning her journey as a steep uphill climb, one constantly measured against the immediate, unmatched success of her rival. It was pointed commentary, and it struck with unmistakable intent.
In Dallas. Then you draft Daisy. Any scenario where they're trying to build, you take our fam. And our fam with Paige Bueckers is going to be like long term the only guard big combo that can compete with Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston. Long term, that is. Short term, I think Awa still has quite a bit to go to even be a Leah Boston. And I think Paige has a little bit to go to be Caitlin Clark.
The entire backdrop for this bold comparison emerged from the Dallas Wings, securing the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft. The Analyst's proposal centered on selecting an AOA FEM standout as a critical complementary piece to Paige Bueckers, framing this specific guard, big pairing as the only duo capable of competing with Caitlin Clark in the long run. This strategic vision carried a clear underlying message. Even with all of Paige's talent, individual brilliance alone may not be enough to counter Clark's impact. According to the Analyst, true contention would require a foundational partnership, one built specifically to balance Clark's sweeping influence on the game.
It's not going to happen in both of their year ones, but the chance is when they're both off their rookie deals, this is a duo that can compete for a championship. It is watch the Wings waste on Lauren Betts. If they fuck it. That's the best thing to do. When's the last time a WNBA team? When is the last WNBA team that won a title with a 6'7" center that couldn't move? When was that started? I'm just trying to think of bigs. 2021 Chicago Sky. I know they had Azure on their team.
This perspective carried an unspoken but unmistakable implication. That Paige, despite her immense talent, still needs substantial strategic reinforcement to truly contend with Clark's game-breaking dominance. If securing a top-tier draft pick is framed as necessary just to keep pace with Clark, what does that suggest about Paige's ability to command games and shut down opponents on her own at the professional level? In that light, the Analyst's draft strategy doubled as a nuanced, perhaps even backhanded, assessment of the unprecedented challenge Clark presents and the steep standard she sets for anyone hoping to rival her.
And it's not like she has the Tiara McCown attitude issues. It's that the game's moved past Lauren Betts. Not only that, she's been so average as a senior. She has been so average. Like, okay, she's 5 for 5 so far today. They're facing Southern. Southern what? I mean this, like, I'm looking at the game, but like, everybody being like, oh, Lauren Betts, like, look at her gravity she creates by existing. She is playing Southern.
The Analyst's tendency for bold, unfiltered evaluations didn't stop with Paige and Caitlin. They also delivered a strikingly harsh critique of other top prospects, including Lauren Betts, claiming that the game has moved past Lauren Betts and pointing to her so-average senior year, showcased a willingness to deliver brutally honest, often deeply unpopular, assessments. This pattern of no-holds-barred commentary only amplified the weight of their remarks about Paige and Clark. It reinforced the sense that these evaluations weren't casual takes but pointed, deliberate judgments, making their comparison even more impactful and far more difficult to ignore.